I bought my first house and invited family for a barbecue. No one showed. They were all taking selfies with my sister's new waiter job. That night, my lights were on. My phone exploded with calls from my dad and text messages from everyone asking where I was during the emergency. I'm Jackie, 28, and I just experienced what I can only describe as the most eye-opening weekend of my life. Fair warning, this is long, but I promise it's worth it. Background. Let me paint you a picture of my family dynamic. I'm the middle child between my older brother Jake, 32, and my younger sister Madison, 24. Growing up, I was always the responsible one. Good grades, never got in trouble, worked part-time jobs since I was 16, put myself through college, and landed a solid job as a project manager at a tech company. Meanwhile, Jake spent his 20s bouncing between jobs and living in our parents' basement until last year. And Madison, well, Madison has always been the golden child. Don't get me wrong, I love my sister, but she's one of those people who seems to coast through life on charm and looks. She dropped out of college twice, has never held a job for more than 6 months, and somehow always lands on her feet with family help. My parents, Dad, Robert, and Mom, Linda, have always made excuses for her. Madison just needs to find herself, or she's going through a rough patch. Meanwhile, every achievement I made was met with lukewarm congratulations and immediate pivots to whatever crisis Madison was currently navigating. The house. 3 months ago, I closed on my first house. It's nothing fancy, a modest 3-bedroom ranch in a decent neighborhood about 40 minutes from where I grew up, but it's mine. I saved for the down payment for 4 years, living in a tiny studio apartment and eating ramen more nights than I care to admit. When I got the keys, I literally cried in the driveway. I called my family immediately. Dad's reaction was, "That's great, honey." "Hey, did you know Madison got accepted to that bartending course?" Mom chimed in with, "Oh, that's nice beer. Make sure you get good insurance." Jake at least seemed genuinely happy for me, but the call lasted maybe 5 minutes before it shifted to Madison's latest drama with her on-again, off-again boyfriend, Tyler. I decided to let it slide. This was my moment, and I wasn't going to let their lukewarm response ruin it. The invitation, 2 weeks ago, I decided to host a housewarming barbecue. I spent hours planning it, made a grocery list, looked up recipes, even bought one of those fancy grills from Home Depot, my first major purchase for the house, and I was so proud. I wanted to show off my new place and celebrate this milestone with the people who matter most to me. I sent out a group text to my immediate family, plus a few close friends. Housewarming barbecue at my new place. Saturday, 2 p.m. Can't wait to show you guys around and celebrate together. Let me know if you can make it. The responses trickled in throughout the week. My friends Emma and Josh confirmed immediately. My coworker Melissa said she'd try to make it. Jake said he'd be there. Mom responded with, "We'll see." And Dad just hearted the message. Madison never responded at all. Friday night, I texted again. "Hey everyone, just confirming for tomorrow. Barbecue starts at 2 p.m. I'm so excited to see you all." Jake, "Yep, see you there." Mom, probably running late, but we'll try. Dad, thumbs up emoji. Madison, nothing. I should have known something was up. Saturday morning, I woke up at 7 a.m., buzzing with excitement. I cleaned the house top to bottom, even though it was already pretty clean, set up folding chairs in the backyard, prepped all the food, and decorated with some simple string lights I'd found on clearance. By 1 p.m., everything was perfect. The grill was preheated, potato salad was chilled, and I'd even made my grandmother's famous chocolate chip cookies from scratch. At 1:30, I texted the group, "Everything's ready. Can't wait to see you all soon." No responses. The no-show, 2 p.m., came and went. Then 2:30. At 3 p.m., Emma and Josh showed up, and bless them, they made a huge fuss over the house and kept the energy up. Melissa arrived around 3:30, but no family. "I'm sure they're just running late," Emma said, but I could see the pity in her eyes. By 4:00 p.m., I was worried something had happened. I called Jake first. "Oh, hey, Jackie," he answered, and I could hear loud background noise. "What's up?" "What do you mean, what's up?" "The barbecue. You said you'd be here." There was a pause. Oh, was that today? I'm actually at Madison's thing right now. Madison's thing. Yeah, she got that job at Mercado. You know, that fancy Italian place downtown. We're all here celebrating. She's getting so many tips, and the photos she's posting are getting hundreds of likes already. Mom and Dad are here too. We were going to swing by later, but this is going so well. My heart sank into my stomach. You're all together right now? Yeah. Madison texted the family group chat this morning. Didn't you see it? I checked my phone. There was no family group chat that included me. Let me repeat that. There was no family group chat that included me. I I don't think I'm in that chat, Jake. Another pause. Longer this time. Oh, well, uh, maybe it was a different chat. Look, I'm sorry about the barbecue thing. I can probably swing by later. Don't bother, I said, and hung up. I stood there in my kitchen, looking at all the food I prepared, listening to my friends try to make small talk in the backyard, and I felt something shift inside me. Not sadness, not disappointment, pure crystalline anger. They had a family group chat without me, and they were all together celebrating Madison's first day as a waitress like it was the Nobel Prize ceremony, while I stood alone in my first house with a grill full of burgers nobody wanted. The realization Emma, Josh, and Melissa stayed until about 7 p.m., and honestly, we had a good time despite everything. But after they left, I sat in my empty house and really processed what had happened. This wasn't just about missing a barbecue. This was a pattern I'd been too blind or too hopeful to see clearly. I pulled out my phone and started scrolling through social media. Sure enough, Madison's Instagram was blowing up with posts from her first day at Mercado. Professionally taken photos of her in her server uniform, artistic shots of fancy pasta dishes, and group photos with my parents and Jake raising wine glasses and toasts. The captions were all about following your dreams, and so grateful for family support. The comments were nauseating. You're going to do amazing, living your best life. Such an inspiration. She was a waitress at a restaurant for one day. Don't get me wrong, there's absolutely nothing wrong with service work. It's honest, hard work, and I respect the hell out of anyone who does it well. But the fanfare was insane. Meanwhile, my actual house purchase hadn't even warranted a single social media acknowledgement from any of them. I looked at my own Instagram. The last post was from 2 months ago when I'd shared a photo of my house keys with the caption, "Dreams do come true. First time homeowner." It had gotten 47 likes. Madison's waitressing photos from today had over 300 likes each. But then I started really diving deep into the social media rabbit hole, and that's when the full extent of the situation hit me. I went back through Madison's Instagram posts from the past 6 months, all the major moments in her life that my family had rallied around. There was the post from when she decided to get serious about fitness, a mirror selfie at the gym that lasted exactly 3 visits based on her subsequent posts. The comments from my family. Dad posted a flexing emoji. Mom wrote, "So proud of your dedication." And Jake commented, "Beast mode." The post had 180 likes. Then there was her entrepreneur era, when she decided to sell handmade jewelry on Etsy. She'd set up an elaborate photo shoot in Mom's garden, complete with professional lighting that Dad had rented for the occasion. The family had shared her posts. Mom had bought 5 necklaces she never wore, and Dada had pitched her business to all his coworkers' wives. The venture lasted 6 weeks and sold 12 pieces total. But the launch post had 250 likes and comments like CEO in the making from our relatives. Most recently, there was her brief stint as a social media influencer when she decided to start a lifestyle blog called Madison's Moments. The family had rallied again. Jake helped her design a logo. Mom drove her around to different coffee shops for content creation, and Dad bought her a ring light for her birthday. She posted maybe 15 blog entries over 3 months before losing interest, but every single post was flooded with supportive comments from family members. Meanwhile, I scrolled back through when I got promoted to senior project manager last year, a position I'd worked toward for 3 years. I posted a simple photo of my new business cards. 12 likes. No family comments except Jake's thumbs up emoji. When I completed my project management certification course while working full-time, a 6-month commitment that involved studying every weekend, I'd shared a photo of my certificate. 8 likes. Mom had hearted it 2 days later. When my company won a major contract that I'd led the proposal for, a career-defining moment that came with a significant bonus, I posted about it because I was genuinely excited and proud. 5 likes, no family engagement at all. The contrast was devastating, but it also made me think about offline moments too. The pattern becomes clear. Sitting in my living room, I started mentally cataloging other examples, and they came flooding back with painful clarity. Last Christmas, Madison had announced she was taking a break from dating to focus on self-love and personal growth. This lasted approximately 3 weeks, but during Christmas dinner, it dominated the entire conversation. She talked about her new meditation app, her plan to travel solo, which never happened, and her decision to declutter her life. She ended up buying more stuff. Everyone hung on every word like she was delivering a TED Talk on enlightenment. At the same dinner, I'd mentioned that I was looking at houses and had been pre-approved for a mortgage, something I'd worked toward for years. The response was basically, "That's nice, honey. Madison, tell us more about that yoga retreat you're planning." Or my college graduation. I was the first person in my family to graduate magna cum laude, and I'd worked 2 jobs throughout school to pay for it myself. The graduation dinner conversation somehow turned into a 2-hour discussion about whether Madison should transfer schools again because she wasn't feeling inspired by her current major. She changed majors 4 times and had been in school for 6 years at that point. But somehow her educational journey was more interesting than my actual achievement. Even smaller moments stung when I really thought about them. Last summer, I'd learned to tile and completely renovated my apartment bathroom myself, watched YouTube videos, bought all the tools, spent 3 weekends covered in grout and determination. I was so proud of the result that I shared photos in our family text chain. Jake said, "Cool." And that was it. But when Madison painted her bedroom wall with chalkboard paint, a 2-hour project that Dad helped her with, it was treated like she'd painted the Sistine Chapel. Mom posted Facebook photos of the transformation and called it Madison's creative vision coming to life. The more I thought about it, the more I realized that my family had unconsciously divided us into roles. Madison was the star whose every move deserved documentation and celebration, and I was the reliable supporting character who handled logistics and provided stability while staying largely invisible. The deep dive. I decided to really test my theory. I opened our family's Facebook group, something Mom had created for keeping in touch and sharing memories. I scrolled back through 2 years of posts. Madison appeared in 47 posts. There were albums from her brief modeling phase when she'd convinced a local photographer to do a portfolio shoot in exchange for social media promotion. Photos from her various jobs. The boutique where she lasted 2 months. The yoga studio, where she was a receptionist for 6 weeks. The marketing startup where she worked for 3 months before deciding it was too corporate for her spirit. Pictures from every birthday, every dinner out, every time she tried a new haircut or bought a new outfit. I appeared in 12 posts. Most were group family photos where I happened to be present. The only solo post about me was from my college graduation, and it was captioned, "Proud of our Jackie for finishing school." Like I'd accomplished the bare minimum rather than excelling academically while working full-time. But the comments on those posts were what really drove the point home. Madison's posts averaged 25 to 30 comments each, with extended family members, family, friends, and parents, co-workers all chiming in with encouragement and praise. My posts averaged 8 to 10 comments, mostly from immediate family, and usually pretty generic. When Madison posted about starting her Etsy shop, Aunt Carol commented, "I'm so inspired by your creativity and entrepreneurial spirit. Can't wait to see where this journey takes you." When I posted about my promotion, Aunt Carol liked it. That's it, the friend comparison. This deep dive made me think about how my friends' families operated, and the contrast was stark. Emma's family celebrated everything equally among the siblings. When her brother got a new job, they had a family dinner. When Emma got accepted to graduate school, they had a family dinner. When her sister got engaged, they had a family dinner. Same energy, same celebration level, same social media fanfare. Josh grew up in a family where achievements were measured by effort and personal growth, not just outcome. His parents celebrated his sister's completion of rehab with the same enthusiasm they showed for his own law school graduation. They understood that different people have different challenges and different victories. Melissa's family had a tradition where each person got to choose how they wanted to celebrate their good news. Some preferred quiet family dinners, others wanted big parties, some just wanted a nice phone call. But everyone got to choose, and everyone's choice was respected. My family had no such system. Madison got celebrations whether she wanted them or not, and she always wanted them. I got polite acknowledgement whether I wanted more or not, and I always wanted more, the money trail. And then there was the financial aspect, which I'd never really tallied up before. Madison's car, a lease that Dad co-signed for and Mom helps pay when Madison is between jobs, costs $400 a month. I've had the same reliable used Honda for 7 years, which I bought myself after saving for months. Madison's apartment in the trendy part of town. Mom and Dad cover her rent temporarily whenever she's unemployed, which is frequently. The apartment costs $1,200 a month. I live in a studio apartment for 4 years to save money for my house down payment. Madison's credit cards. Dad has bailed her out of credit card debt 3 times in the past 5 years, to the tune of thousands of dollars each time. I've never carried a credit card balance because I was taught to live within my means, ironically, by the same parents who kept rescuing Madison from the consequences of not living within hers. Madison's various business ventures, the Etsy shop startup costs, the blog equipment, the gym membership she needed for her fitness journey, the art supplies for her brief painting phase, all funded by family members who wanted to support her dreams. When I wanted to take a project management course to advance my career, I saved up and paid the $800 fee myself. I'd never added it all up before, but I estimated that my parents had spent at least $15,000 on Madison's various pursuits and bailouts over the past 2 years. In that same period, they'd spent maybe $200 on me, a birthday dinner, and a Christmas gift. The emotional labor inventory, but it wasn't just money. I started thinking about emotional labor, all the invisible work of maintaining family relationships and managing other people's feelings and problems. Who did Madison call when she got fired from the boutique? Me, who listened to her cry for 2 hours about how her boss was threatened by her potential? Me, who helped her write a resume that made her spotty work history sound impressive? Me, who did Jake call when he was stressed about finding a new apartment? Me, who spent 3 weekends driving around looking at places with him and helping him navigate lease applications. Me, who co-signed his lease because his credit wasn't great. Not me. That was Dad. But who did the actual work of apartment hunting? Me, who managed the family calendar, remembering birthdays and anniversaries and making sure everyone knew about family gatherings. Me, who organized the family Secret Santa every year, collecting wish lists and making sure gifts were appropriate and within budget. Me, who planned Mom's surprise 55th birthday party, handling everything from venue booking to coordinating with relatives. Me, who did everyone call when they needed someone to listen, to problem solve, to research solutions, to provide practical help. Me, who called me when they had good news to share, exciting updates, or just wanted to chat. Almost never anyone. I was the family's emotional labor provider, but not the family's emotional labor recipient. The breaking point crystallizes. Sitting there in my house that I'd bought with my money that I'd saved through my hard work, I felt something shift permanently. It wasn't just anger anymore, it was clarity. I'd been operating under the assumption that family love was unconditional and that if I just kept being patient and supportive and reliable, eventually I'd get the same energy back. But what if that wasn't true? What if my family's love was actually very conditional? Conditional on me, playing the role of the responsible one who asks for nothing and provides everything? What if the reason Madison got all the celebration and attention wasn't because they loved her more, but because she demanded it and I didn't? What if the reason I got overlooked wasn't because my achievements mattered less, but because I made it easy for them to overlook me by never complaining about it? What if I'd been enabling this dynamic by accepting it? The thought was terrifying and liberating at the same time. Terrifying because it meant potentially losing relationships that, however flawed, were still my family. Liberating because it meant I could choose to stop participating in a system that diminished me. The social media experiment. I decided to do something I'd never done before. I posted about my house on Facebook, not just a simple photo, but a real post about what it meant to me. 2 years ago, I set a goal to buy my first house before I turned 30. Today, 3 months after closing, I'm sitting in my living room reflecting on this journey. It took 4 years of saving, living below my means, researching neighborhoods, learning about mortgages, and working toward this dream. There were times I wondered if it would ever happen, especially when unexpected expenses came up or when I had to turn down social events to stick to my budget. But it did happen. I'm a homeowner. I have my own space, my own garden, my own mortgage that I can afford on my own income. I'm proud of myself for sticking to this goal even when it was hard, even when it was lonely, even when it seemed impossible. This house represents independence, stability, and the power of persistence. I can't wait to fill it with memories and maybe host some dinner parties once I get furniture. House with garden emoji, sparkles emoji. I posted it with several photos. The house exterior, my favorite room, the garden space I was planning to develop, and a photo of me holding my house keys with the biggest genuine smile I'd had in months. Within an hour, the post had more engagement than anything I'd ever shared. Emma and Josh commented immediately with enthusiastic congratulations. Melissa shared it with a comment about being inspired by my determination. Several coworkers commented with praise and offers to help with decorating or gardening, but the family responses were telling. Jake liked it and commented, "So proud of you, sis," which was nice. Mom hearted it. Dad liked it several hours later, Madison. Nothing. Meanwhile, I could see that Madison had posted an Instagram story during the same time period, a mirror selfie with a caption, "Retail therapy because I deserve nice things." Sparkles emoji. And both Mom and Dad had responded to that story with enthusiastic emojis and comments. The contrast was so stark it was almost funny. Almost. The conversation with myself. That night, I sat in my backyard with a glass of wine and had a long, honest conversation with myself about what I actually wanted. Did I want my family to change? Yes, but I was starting to realize that might not be possible. Patterns this entrenched don't usually shift without major catalysts, and even then, change is hard. Did I want to keep participating in family events where I felt invisible and unappreciated? No, definitely not. Did I want to keep being the family problem solver and emotional labor provider without getting anything back? No. Did I want to cut my family off entirely? I wasn't sure. The idea of losing them completely was scary, even if the current relationship was unsatisfying. What I wanted, I realized, was respect. I wanted my achievements to matter. I wanted my feelings to be considered. I wanted to be included in family communications and decisions. I wanted my time and energy to be valued, not just assumed. And if I couldn't have those things, I wanted to at least stop giving my time and energy to people who didn't value them. It was a simple realization, but it felt revolutionary. Sunday morning, I woke up Sunday still angry, but with a weird sense of clarity. I decided to do something I'd never done before. I made plans that didn't include my family or consider their schedule. I called Emma. "Want to go furniture shopping? I need to furnish this place properly." We spent the day at various stores and I bought a beautiful dining room set, a new couch, some artwork, and plants. It felt good to make decisions without worrying about what anyone else would think or whether it would inconvenience anyone else's plans. Around 6 p.m., as Emma and I were setting up my new furniture, my phone started ringing. Dad's name flashed on the screen. I let it go to voicemail. Then it rang again and again. Then the text started coming in. "Dad, Jackie, call me back urgently. Mom, where are you? We need you here now, Jake. Jackie, this is serious. Call Dad immediately." Madison, "Jackie, where are you? This is an emergency." And then the kicker, a text from an unknown number. "Hi, this is David, Madison's manager at Mercado. Your family is asking me to contact you. There's been a situation and they need you here right away. Please come to the restaurant." I stared at my phone like it had grown tentacles. The emergency. Emma looked at me with wide eyes. What is it? I showed her the messages. I honestly have no idea. My phone rang again, Dad. This time I answered. Jackie, thank God. You need to get to Mercado right now. Madison's in trouble. What kind of trouble? Is she hurt? There was an incident with a customer. She might lose her job. We need you here to help smooth things over. The audacity was breathtaking. Dad, let me get this straight. Yesterday, you all skipped my housewarming barbecue, the first major celebration I've ever hosted, to go take Instagram photos at Madison's first day of work. None of you even bothered to cancel or let me know. And now you want me to drive 40 minutes to clean up whatever mess she made. Jackie, this isn't the time. No, Dad. Let me finish. There's apparently a family group chat that I'm not included in. I spent yesterday alone in my new house with a yard full of food and no family, while you guys were playing paparazzi for Madison's server job. And now you want me to drop everything to fix her problems? Silence on the other end. Are you coming or not? I looked around my living room. Emma was pretending to arrange throw pillows while obviously listening. My new furniture looked perfect. My house was quiet and peaceful. I felt more content than I had in years. No, I said. I'm not coming, Dad. I hung up. The aftermath. The calls and texts continued for the next hour. I didn't answer any of them. Emma and I ordered Chinese food and watched Netflix on my new couch. Around 10 p.m., the messages stopped. Monday morning, I got a single text from Mom. Madison lost her job. Hope you're happy. I screenshot it and sent it to Emma with the caption, The audacity of this family never ceases to amaze me. But here's where it gets interesting. Tuesday. The plot thickens. Tuesday afternoon, I was working from home when my doorbell rang. It was Jake, looking sheepish and holding a coffee tray from Starbucks. Peace offering, he said. I let him in, mostly because I was curious about what spin he was going to put on this whole situation. We sat in my living room, and he looked around with what seemed like genuine admiration. Jackie, this place is really nice. I'm sorry I missed the barbecue. Thanks. Look, I need to tell you something about Sunday night. I waited. Madison didn't lose her job because of some customer complaint. No. Jake rubbed his forehead. She was taking selfies during her shift, like constantly, and she was having us pose with her for photos while she was supposed to be working. The manager asked her to stop multiple times, and she got defensive and said we were supporting her dreams and that he was being unprofessional by embarrassing her in front of her family. I sipped my coffee and said nothing. Then she posted a story on Instagram calling the manager a dream crusher and tagging the restaurant. She didn't realize he could see it. He fired her on the spot, and the emergency call to me was, Dad thought if you came down and talked to the manager, you could convince him to give her another chance. You know, professional to professional. I laughed. Actually laughed out loud. So, let me make sure I understand this completely. Madison spent her first day of work treating the restaurant like her personal photo studio instead of actually working. When her boss told her to stop, she threw a tantrum and then publicly trash-talked him and the business online. And Dad thought I should drive down there and convince this man to rehire her. Jake nodded miserably. Pretty much. And none of you saw any problem with this plan. Well, when you put it like that. Wednesday, the family meeting. Wednesday evening, Mom called. Not Dad, not Madison. Mom, we're having a family dinner Sunday. Dad's grilling. Can you come? The casual tone was almost insulting, like nothing had happened. I don't think so. Jackie, we need to talk about what happened as a family. What happened is that you all excluded me from a family event to celebrate Madison's job, which she then lost after one day because she couldn't stop taking selfies. And then you expected me to drop everything to fix her mess. What exactly do we need to discuss? You're being dramatic. Those 3 words broke something in me. I'm being dramatic. Mom, I bought a house. A house. I saved for 4 years and achieved a major life milestone, and I wanted to celebrate it with my family. Instead, you all went to take Instagram photos and didn't even bother to cancel, and I'm being dramatic. Madison's going through a tough time. Madison is 24 years old. She's not going through a tough time. She's facing consequences for her actions for maybe the first time in her life. And instead of letting her learn from this, you want me to enable it by cleaning up her messes. There was a long pause. So, you're not coming to dinner? Not unless some things change. What things? I thought about it. I want an apology from all of you, a real one. I want acknowledgement that missing my housewarming barbecue was wrong and hurtful, and I want to be included in family communications going forward. Jackie, those are my terms. Take them or leave them." She hung up. Thursday. The text. Thursday morning. I woke up to a text from Madison. A long one. "Jackie, I know you're mad. I get it, but you don't understand how hard this is for me. I really thought this job was going to be different, and now everyone is calling me a failure and saying I can't do anything right. I needed my family there to support me. And yes, maybe I took too many pictures, but I was excited and wanted to share it with everyone. You've always been the successful one, so you don't know what it's like to feel like nothing you do matters. I'm sorry you're upset about your barbecue, but I didn't know it was such a big deal to you, and Mom and Dad said we could stop by later anyway. Can't you just forgive me and help me figure out what to do next?" I read it 3 times. Then I crafted my response very carefully. "Madison, I understand you're disappointed about the job, but let me be clear about a few things. First, I wasn't mad that you took photos. I was hurt that you and the entire family skipped my housewarming barbecue without even canceling or letting me know. Second, there's a family group chat I'm not included in, which tells me that my exclusion was intentional. Third, you lost your job because you prioritized social media over work responsibilities, not because of some external failure. And finally, I am not responsible for fixing the consequences of your choices. I love you, but until you can take accountability for your actions, and until this family can treat me with basic respect, I need some space." She didn't respond. Friday, Jake's visit. Friday afternoon, Jake showed up again. No coffee this time, just a serious expression. "I talked to Mom and Dad, and they're not going to apologize." I wasn't surprised, but it still stung. "Why not? Dad says you're making mountains out of molehills, and that family should just forgive and move on. Mom thinks you're being stubborn and trying to make Madison's problems about you." I nodded slowly. "What do you think?" Jake was quiet for a long moment. "Honestly, I think they've been taking advantage of you for years, and you finally called them out on it." That surprised me. "I've been thinking about it since Sunday," he continued. "You're right about the pattern. Every time you achieve something, it gets overshadowed by whatever Madison needs. And you just handle it. You're always the one who adjusts, who compromises, who fixes things. I don't think I realized how unfair it was until I saw you standing up for yourself. So, what are you going to do about it? I don't know yet, but I'm not going to Sunday dinner unless they apologize to you." Saturday, the revelation. Saturday morning, I decided to deep clean my house and really settle in. I was washing windows when my phone buzzed with a notification. Madison had tagged me in an Instagram story. It was a screenshot of our text conversation from Thursday. She posted my response with a caption, "When your own sister abandons you during the hardest time of your life." Broken heart emoji, #family first, #disappointed, #sisterhood. The comments were predictably supportive of her. "You deserve better. Real family sticks together. Some people are just selfish." But then I noticed something. Several of the commenters were people I recognized. Family friends, distant relatives, people who knew both of us, and their comments weren't what Madison was probably expecting. My cousin Angela. Wait, Madison. Didn't Jackie just buy her first house? Maybe there's more to this story. Family friend, Mrs. Peterson. I remember when Jackie graduated college and started that good job. You're lucky to have such a responsible sister. And then the kicker from my high school friend who knew the whole family. Didn't Jackie invite everyone to a barbecue that everyone skipped? I saw the posts. This seems like there might be 2 sides here. Within an hour, Madison had deleted the story. Sunday, the dinner. Sunday came and went. I spent it meal prepping, reading on my back porch, and video chatting with Emma about her new relationship. Around 7 p.m., Jake texted me. Family dinner was awkward. I didn't go. Neither did Madison, actually. Just Mom and Dad. They kept asking where everyone was. That evening, Dad called me. "Jackie, we need to talk. I'm listening." This has gone too far. The family is falling apart. The family fell apart when you decided I wasn't worth including or respecting. That's not... Look, maybe we made some mistakes, but you're being unreasonable. Madison made one error in judgment, and you're holding it against all of us. Dad, Madison didn't make one error in judgment. She made a series of choices that led to consequences. And you, Mom, and Jake made choices too. You chose to skip my housewarming barbecue. You chose to create a group chat without me. You chose to expect me to drop everything to fix Madison's problems. And now you're choosing not to apologize. We're family. Family doesn't keep scorecards. You're right. Family shows up for each other. Family celebrates each other's achievements. Family includes each other. Family doesn't treat one person like a free cleanup service for everyone else's messes. Silence. Are you going to apologize? Jackie, I think you're overreacting, but if it will fix things, fine. I'm sorry we missed your barbecue. That's not an apology, Dad. That's you saying words to make me go away. What do you want me to say? I want you to understand what you did wrong and actually feel bad about it. Jackie, I don't know how to do this. And in that moment, I realized something. He really didn't know. My family had operated under this dysfunction for so long that they genuinely didn't understand what they'd done wrong. In their minds, Madison's needs always came first, and everyone else just adjusted around that. It wasn't malicious. It was just the system they'd created. But understanding it didn't mean I had to accept it. Monday, the decision. Monday morning, I made a decision. I texted the family group chat that Jake had finally added me to. I love you all, but I need to step back from family events and obligations until some things change. I'm not trying to punish anyone or create drama. I'm just protecting my own well-being. When you're ready to treat me as an equal member of this family instead of a supporting character in Madison's life, let me know. The responses came quickly. Mom, this is ridiculous. Dad, you're breaking up the family over nothing. Madison, I can't believe you're doing this to me. Jake, I understand. Take the time you need. 2 weeks later, the aftermath. It's been 2 weeks since I sent that text, and my life has been peaceful. Really peaceful. I've hung out with Emma and Josh several times. I joined a book club at the library. I went on a date with a guy from my kickboxing class. I planted a garden in my backyard. And my family, radio silence. Except for Jake, who's been checking in every few days. Apparently, Madison got a new job at a coffee shop and lasted 3 days before quitting because they didn't appreciate her aesthetic vision. Mom and Dad are trying to convince her to move back home temporarily while she figures things out. Some of my extended family members have reached out after the Instagram story incident. Turns out several of them had noticed the pattern over the years, but hadn't felt comfortable saying anything. My cousin Angela even apologized for not speaking up sooner. Yesterday, the unexpected call. Yesterday, I got a call from an unknown number. It was David, the manager from Marcato, the one who had texted me that first night. Hi, Jackie. This is David from Marcato Restaurant. I hope it's okay that I'm calling you. I was confused. Of course. But why are you calling? Well, this is a little unusual, but I wanted to apologize for involving you in that situation a couple weeks ago. Your family was quite insistent that I contact you, and I realize now that I should have refused. It wasn't appropriate. Oh, it's fine. Not your fault. Actually, I'm calling because I heard from a mutual friend that you work in project management, and we're looking for someone to help us streamline our operations. Would you be interested in consulting for us? I almost laughed. Madison gets fired from a restaurant, and they end up wanting to hire me. I'd be interested in hearing more about it, I said. We're meeting this Thursday. Today, reflection. So here I am writing this whole thing out because I need to process it all. In the span of 2 weeks, I went from being the family doormat to being completely estranged from most of my family. And the weirdest part, I'm not sad about it. I'm angry. Yes, I'm disappointed. Absolutely. But I'm not sad. I'm relieved. For the first time in my adult life, I'm making decisions based on what I want and need, not on what will cause the least drama for everyone else. I'm not constantly bracing myself for the next Madison crisis or wondering when I'll be called upon to fix something that isn't my responsibility. I miss the idea of my family. I miss the version of them that I always hoped they could be. But I don't miss the reality of how they actually treated me. Update, the apology, sort of. I was going to post this yesterday, but then something happened that I need to add. This morning, Mom called me. Jackie, I've been thinking about what you said. Okay, maybe we did take you for granted sometimes. It wasn't the apology I wanted, but it was more self-awareness than I'd expected. I think we got used to you being so capable and reliable that we forgot you have feelings too. I do have feelings, Mom. and I have needs, and I matter just as much as Madison does. I know that. I've always known that. Then why didn't you act like it? Long pause. I don't know. I guess Madison was always so dramatic about everything that she got more attention. And you were so independent that we thought you didn't need as much. I don't know. Validation. Everyone needs validation, Mom, especially from their family. I'm sorry we missed your barbecue. I'm sorry we made you feel left out. I'm sorry we expected you to drop everything for Madison when we wouldn't do the same for you. It wasn't perfect, but it was real. I could hear in her voice that she meant it. Thank you for saying that. Can you forgive us? I can forgive you, but forgiveness doesn't mean everything goes back to the way it was. Things need to change. What do you need from us? I thought about it. I need to be included. I need my achievements to be celebrated, not just tolerated. And I need Madison to face consequences for her actions without everyone expecting me to fix them. That's fair. And I need Dad and Madison to apologize too. Real apologies. I'll talk to them. Final update this morning. This morning, I got a text from Madison. Jackie, I'm sorry I got you excluded from stuff, and I'm sorry I took your barbecue day for granted. I know I mess up a lot, and I know you always help fix things, and I never really said thank you. I don't want you to hate me. It's not the most articulate apology, but knowing Madison, it's probably the most self-aware thing she's ever said. Dad texted an hour later. I'm sorry I missed your housewarming, and I'm sorry I expected you to solve Madison's work problem. I'm proud of you for buying your house, and I should have said that more. The conclusion. I don't know if my family will actually change long term. Patterns that have been in place for decades don't disappear overnight, but for the first time, they're at least acknowledging that the patterns exist and that they're unfair to me. I'm still taking things slowly with them. I agreed to have coffee with Mom this weekend, just the two of us. Jake and I are planning to go furniture shopping for his new apartment. He's finally moving out of the basement. And Madison and I are going to have a conversation soon about boundaries and expectations. But regardless of what happens with them, I've learned something important about myself. I'm worth more than being everyone's backup plan. I'm worth celebrating. I'm worth including. I'm worth apologizing to when I've been wronged. And my house, it's perfect. I'm hosting Emma and Josh for dinner tomorrow night, and I'm making homemade pasta. No drama, no family emergencies, no crisis management required. Just good food, good friends, and my beautiful, peaceful home. Sometimes the best revenge isn't getting back at people who wronged you. Sometimes it's just living well and refusing to accept less than you deserve. Oh, and I got the consulting job at Marcato. Turns out being the responsible one actually is worth something after all. TL. DR. Family skipped my housewarming barbecue to celebrate my sister's first day as a waitress, then expected me to fix it when she got fired for taking selfies at work. I said no. Went low contact, and they finally realized they'd been taking me for granted for years. Now I have a peaceful house, new job opportunities, and family members who are finally learning to apologize. Not all endings are happy, but some endings are just.